What's that?
What is what?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that plane is gonna hit us. Just stay calm and don't freak out.
What do you mean, don't freak out? Do you have a plan?
Yeah, I shoot through the windshield, dive into the plane, and kill that asshole Philippe.
Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? It's my thoughts on Saints Row the Third. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. I will now start my video. Alright, so Saints Row the Third, it is probably a month or two old now. Yeah, it came out like November, I think, November 15th. Which is weird because I don't know why I would remember that. Alright, so I have pretty big history with Saints Row. I've played every single one of them. Saints Row 1 I've beaten probably like 6 times, probably like doing every single like mission and stuff, and just playing through the shit out of that game. So I do have a huge history with Saints Row. I beat the second one, but I didn't like keep beating it like I did with the first one. But I've played both of them enough to know my shit. So I'll start off with story like I always do. Alright, so story. This one, it doesn't specify how long after Saints Row 2, but it does take place after. Basically, at the end of Saints Row 2, you took over Altor, which was like a media company or something. So what they did is they made the Saints basically celebrities. They're kind of like role models of everybody and shit. So basically what happens at this point is they're still doing their thing. They're still like robbing places, stealing stuff, killing people, and so they decide to steal this this bank. Here's a thing I don't understand. They don't say if the bank is in Stillwater, like the city from the first 2 games, or if the city is, or like the bank is in another city, because after you go into this bank, you end up going to another city. So I'm curious that like, why would you go back over to the other city if you weren't in this? Like, I don't know, it's weird. Putting too much thinking into it when this essentially is not a thinking game. It's basically just a balls to the walls action game, but. Yeah, basically it takes place, like I said, a little bit after you rob a bank. Robbing the bank was a setup. You get caught, so does your like 2 lieutenants or whatever. It ends up one of them has to disappear, and then you take one of them with you to the new city, it's a pretty awesome way to enter a city. You know, normally when they put you into a new area, they make you drive somewhere or something. Nope, they make you skydive out of a plane. Down into the city, which is pretty cool because you can see like an overview of the entire city as you're falling. It's pretty nice the way they do that. But yeah, once you get in there, this is kind of where I have a problem. Normally in Saints Row, it goes, okay, you do like a mission or 2, then the world opens up, and then you can go take out the 3 gangs that you're fighting. This time around, the gangs are working together, so you basically just have a mission list, and you just pick the missions like. You have to do every mission in order to progress the story. So it's not like you can go take out one of the gangs completely, then go take out the other gangs. They force you to take out, they force you to take out the red gang first, then they take the blue one out, then the green one out. I don't really like that style. I preferred the other one. It was something unique and different, but they got rid of that. Now it's just linear mission style, which it doesn't make the missions suck or anything. It's just a preference, I guess. But the missions are basically the same. I will say that they actually incorporated the activities into the single player, like the main story now. So, in Act 1, there's 3 acts by the way. Basically, you're just doing activities for the first act, and then second act, you do a couple activities, but then they start doing missions. So there aren't too many unique missions. A lot of them just feel like you're doing the same things over and over again. For the most part, you're usually just driving to an area, grabbing something or blowing something up, killing someone, then just driving back to your base, or just wiping out the area and then you're done. But there are a pretty big variety of missions, especially with the activities. So that's basically like the overview of like how the game works. You basically just open up your cell phone, you click missions, and you do missions. Before they also had I'll talk about this in a second. But yeah, the characters are what make the story. This time around, they're okay. I'm not gonna say, like, I think Saints 2, they had really good characters. Like, the bad guys were pretty fucked up. This time around, they're kind of just stereotypical, like, archetypes. Like, the luchador, he's a angry wrestler guy who, like, doesn't take shit from anybody. You got the hacker guy who's, like, he's like really squirmy, he's trying to get out of every situation he gets into. And then you get, like, the business guy who's serious and always about business. Like, they're not very good villains, and they actually die a lot faster than you'd expect them to. Normally you have like an entire quest line based around taking them out. This time around, you get a couple missions they're dead, couple missions they're dead. But it's pretty cool. This time also they actually incorporated a split decision making. Like at the end of the mission, it'll be like, do you want to do this or this? And depending on your decision, it's gonna affect you in different ways. Like, example, for the hacker guy, you can either pick this one thing that allows him to flee, but he also hacks into the weapon stores and gives you discounts at every weapon store. And then there's this other option where you get discounts on vehicles instead or whatever. So there's different things like that, but then there's also bigger ones like some people will stay alive and other people will die, and you'll get different abilities based around that. So I'm going to approve of story just because it was entertaining. I will say though, it was probably 6 hours, 7 hours. It was pretty short compared to the other ones. I approve of story. It's pretty good, entertaining. It's what it should be. Gameplay. Saints Row never really changes gameplay wise. The biggest jump in the series was from Saints Row 1 to 2, just because they added so much content. I mean, they added like aircrafts, boats. I don't think boats were in the first one. They added like motorcycles, dirt bikes. They just added a lot of stuff, and they like added dual wielding and stuff like that too. Same engine as the second game, and they're all on the same engine really, but it's more around the grounds of Saints Row 2. So it's basically the same thing. Like I was mentioning earlier, it's not following the same mission structure or anything. You basically just open up your cell phone, you have your map, you have your missions, and then you have different areas on the map. Now, what they did this time around is they actually allow you to purchase not every building in the city, but every store and most of the apartment complexes and hotels and strip clubs and buildings. There's just a lot of buildings you can purchase. What this does is it allows you to take control of that area of the city. So if you take control of it, your gang members will be inside that part of the city, and then other gang members can enter it and then try to steal it back, which is pretty cool that they do that. Also, whenever you buy a building, you actually get money every 20 minutes or 30 minutes. So let's say like your hourly pay is like $30,000. Every 20-30 minutes you will get that much money. So they're kind of taking a Fable note there and trying something new like that, which I think it works perfectly for Saints Row. I think Assassin's Creed also did it, but it works pretty good in this one. So that's one of the new features. Okay, they also added a upgrading weapons and character upgrading too. What this means is when you go to a gun store now, for the most part, almost every weapon has 4 levels. Once you upgrade it, you'll get either like increased ammo, increased fire rate, increased radius. There's just so many weapons in this game. I think the others two had more weapons, but there's a lot more variety in what these upgraded weapons do. For example, the first pistol you get, it can end up shooting like laser bullets, and it can like shoot enemies up into the air when you kill them. Like they go flying off in ragdoll mode. It's really cool. And then you get like the SMG, which can set people on fire. There's so many different items and weapons that can be upgraded. And then you get melee weapons that can be upgraded. I wish the dildo bat could be upgraded. Yeah, in case you haven't heard, there's actually a dildo as a melee weapon this time around, and it's pretty bizarre. So that's in this game. I do like the weapon upgrading system. It's pretty unique. You basically spend money on it, so it's nothing hardcore. And like I was saying, character upgrading. What they have now is you still have your reputation level, and once you hit certain levels, you unlock new upgrades, and then you can seriously upgrade a lot of stuff. But you can upgrade your health, you can upgrade your health regeneration, you can upgrade your bullet damage, you can upgrade your fall damage, your fire damage, your explosion damage. And basically, by the time you max out your character, you're pretty much immune to everything, and you can every gun has unlimited ammo. It's crazy. It costs like probably $1 million or $2 million though to do that, so it's gonna take a long time. It's and the thing that I kind of dislike is the activities now. I was mentioning how they're incorporated into the single player, like for the story missions. But this time around, just like with the buildings, they take a territory spot on the map, and it's only one activity. In the other games, you had, like, let's say drug trafficking. You had one on each island, and they were inside of each gang territory. And there was like 10 missions per activity there. So it would take you a while to do it. This time around, there's only one mission inside of that activity, which I don't know. I guess I like it just because you don't have to waste as much time doing it, but it doesn't really get that hard. A lot of these activities feel like level 1 or 2 missions in Saints Row 1 or 2. So, it's just kind of a little beef I have because I played the other games. It doesn't make it a bad game or anything. It's just, again, a preference issue. So I'm going to approve of gameplay. It really is an upgrade to the second game. However, they do take out a couple features though. Not enough to kill the game. Like I said, if you didn't play the other 2 games, you probably won't even notice it. But I approve of gameplay. It's good. Okay, sound. This is easily the worst part of the game. Not the worst part, but the weakest part. Voice acting is good. You got Yuri Lowenthal in there. You've got Laura Bailey in there. You've got a couple of the big voice actors. But so yeah, I'm saying voice acting is really good. It's really good. I like it a lot. But then you get to the music. Normally, Saints Row 1 and 2, they had pretty much perfect soundtracks. There was so many good songs in there. There was at least like 20 songs that everybody would like. This time around, they have maybe there's still the same amount of songs and same amount of radio stations. But this time around, they didn't. I feel like they didn't put enough effort into getting licensed music. Like, a lot of these songs I hear, I don't think they're real. Like, I've never heard them before. So it's a little bummer to see that. I mean, yeah, like I said, there's probably like 10 songs I liked, and as I listened to them, I kind of started hating them though. So I ended up like listening to like 5 songs. Basically, you have this thing called a mixtape, which is where you put the songs that you like into a radio station, and then that radio station only plays the songs that you put into that list. So that's kind of a cool feature they put in there, but I'm gonna have to. I don't know, because the voice acting is really good, but the music isn't that good. So I'm gonna disapprove of sound. I don't want to, but I have to. Okay, so I'll get to my likes and dislikes now, and then my overview. Alright, so starting off with my dislikes. There is no replay. The first and second game had the ability to replay missions and replay cutscenes. This time around, you cannot do that at all. I mean, you can like replay the very last mission, but that's the only mission you can replay, just because it takes you back to your save point before that mission. So that's kind of bullshit, man. Like, that was a really good feature. This set it apart from Grand Theft Auto and other sandbox games. So I'm a little disappointed in them for taking that out. And my the decision making. I really thought that was a cool idea. It affects your endings and your rewards for missions, which is pretty cool. Alright, I only got a minute left, so I'll talk about my overview. Saints Row 3 is a good game. It's pretty good, like a great game. If you have a co-op partner, you and your friend are gonna fucking shit your pants at how fun it is. Even by yourself, it's pretty fun. My only problem with it is it's a little short, the music's not good, and yeah, that's about it. Alright, so that's my thoughts on Saints Row. If you made it this far, you're pretty awesome.